Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Man, I gotta tell you guys, man, this has been, for New York and New York City, it's been one of the wildest winters I can remember in a long time. Between the multiple feet of snow, and then we just had a snowstorm Sunday night into Monday. That just obliterated. I think we got, and I mean, I know further east because I'm on Long Island, but I'm further west, out east, got closer to 3 feet of snow. We got probably about 24, 25 inches of snow. And anybody who works in New York City or any city areas that get clobbered with any type of precipitation, and a lot of times that could be rain too, but like accumulation of snow, it just makes work hard and it really just hamstrings your ability to get. But I think as accumulatively with the winter as it's been, with the cold weathers, single digits, snowstorms, ice storms, all that, it's been a little hellacious, and I haven't had as much time to shoot as much video as I would like to, but I want to dedicate myself to this channel as I have been, and sometimes it takes, taking a little time, even in between all this chaos, to get it done. So for you guys that have been here, that have been supporting the channel, man, we are right on the cusp of 700 subscribers, and I owe that all to you. I mean, when I first started the channel, I could never even think to myself that this is where we would be, and here we are, and it's so freaking cool, man. I mean, we're on our way to 1,000. Sometimes some days are a little bit slower, some days are a little bit better, but that's just social media. That's how it goes. Some people vibe with me, some people don't. Some people like what we have to say, some people don't. It's just the way it goes. I get a lot of that too, a lot of comments, but we do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, man, subscribe to the channel, man. We talk about everything really in the boiler space. I get into the mental side of stuff. I think that's what today's video is going to be subject around a little bit, some of the mental hurdles that we all go through. And I kind of relate this to some of my Facebook posts that I made that have gone kind of viral lately. And just share my own personal opinions, situations, how I feel about things as it pertains to boiler service and service technicians as a whole, because we're a different breed of human being. With that being said, while you're at it, man, smash that like button. It really helps us. Like I said, man, it's all about algorithm in this world that we live in, but the truth is I just come on here and talk to you about real and I tell it to you at only way I know how to do it. So it's coming from a place of realistic scenarios. I never really use my phone. I'm not using notes. This is just right off the top of my head. So again, I do appreciate you guys being here, supporting our channel, supporting our message, and I hope you're enjoying what you're watching. You know what I mean? You're taking time out of your day, and it's greatly appreciated. That's why I also try to keep the episodes kind of on the shorter side, just because I know people's time is valuable. So I like to add as much value as possible. And here I am, 3 minutes in, and I haven't told you. But today's episode, I really wanted to get into. I have talked about the mental side of some of this stuff, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how, as a service tech, a lot of times you're traveling alone, and the pros and cons from somebody that's done it. I mean, it is besides the fact that it's kind of a thankless job, and you guys heard me talk on other episodes about how we take the job home with us and how hard that can be. There's another part of this business that not a lot of people talk about, and that's when you're a service technician, especially in my world, you spend a lot of time alone. And some days, don't get me wrong, man, that's definitely warranted. Being alone sometimes is a necessary evil. I've found over the years that there are days that I spend with other guys, especially when I'm in training mode, which I do a lot, take guys with me and we cruise job to job, and depending on the time of year. So like this time of the year, we're doing a lot of system-wide service calls. So not necessarily equipment problems, but more heating system problems. So we would have hydronic problems, the steam system issues. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of guys with me. And then when I spend like 4 or 5 days of, anybody who's taught can understand what I'm about to say, but like teaching other people is great, right? And I really enjoy it. And I think it's something that I'm good at. And I feel like my message definitely resonates with other people, but it's also very exhausting. You do a lot of talking, you're fielding a lot of questions. It's really good for me because it's like a refresher. Guys ask questions I don't really think about, which is the best part. But the downside is a lot of talking, My throat actually hurts by the end of the day. I can only imagine how singers are, who do concerts and stuff all the time. That must be something you have to work at regularly, because I'm spent by the end of the day. But with all that being said, a lot of times I do enjoy having a guy with me. Now, but this is something not really discussed. We do spend a lot of time alone. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, right? Every now and again, having some time alone is great. Alone to your own thoughts. Listen to whatever music you want to listen to, whatever podcast. I don't have to field questions or continuously communicate about things throughout the day. As a leader, especially the way I run my company, I can't talk about everybody else, but for me, how I communicate with my guys is everything. We talk about everything. I'm not just talking about boiler-centric things. Yes, we talk boilers all day. We do talk systems. But I also teach these guys about investing, how to be smart with their money, and really trying to have well-rounded team members. I think a lot of these guys that come from a misconception that, they can't find wealth in their own life. And I find that to be a little bit false. So we do get into other discussions. We talk about family. We talk about relationships. We talk about everything. And with all that being said, this is not what this episode is about, but it's all encompassed into it, because at the end of the day, the more time I spend communicating, talking, having to entertain somebody else, maybe that's a good way of putting it, it definitely takes its toll. So then there are those times where you do really enjoy being by yourself. But then, I've come to find over the years that as the weather gets colder, as it becomes a little more chaotic, it's actually really nice to have a companion or somebody with you to bounce off of, or, especially as an owner of the company, my mind is filled with phone calls, and I'm definitely inundated all day with phone calls and emails and different problems. And sometimes it's hard to really zero in on, answers to problems simultaneously. So it's a lot of brain power that goes into it, a lot of thought that goes into it every day. And when you have somebody with you, especially somebody with a little bit of knowledge, also is super helpful, can take a little bit of that strain off, and then we can really just discuss getting down to the bottom of the issues. But I don't think people talk enough about the mental side of what goes into riding by yourself, being the main person that whoever sends you to that service call. So whether it be me or my business partner in your business, whoever you're, whether you're getting it direct from the boss or you're dealing with, a field manager or whatever, that's a lot of pressure. And when you have that pressure on you constantly every single day to get the jobs done, especially this time of the year, for us, summer times are such a little bit of a relief. I mean, we stay busy, but it's a different kind of busy. We're doing preventative maintenance stuff. Nothing's like, things aren't breaking down left and right the way they are in the winter. We don't have heating problems in the summertime. So the call volume is a lot less. It allows us to catch up. It allows us to take a deep breath, and it allows us to focus on a little bit more growth. And that's probably the time of year that I relish in being by myself a little bit, being able to kind of look at jobs, price jobs out properly, spend a little time with the guys along the way so I can get some teaching in there. But when it's this time of the year, man, crunch time, busy, slammed with calls, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of like having somebody there with me just to even back off of, or even just to change the subject sometimes, right? Because when you're just inundated with boiler all day, I love this business and I love everything about it, and I'm truly grateful that I get to do this every day, that my knowledge base is where it is, that I get to diagnose problems and help other guys diagnose problems. But I will tell you, man, it's a toll. And when the weather's like this, when it's super cold and snowy and parking's, that's another thing that a lot of guys don't talk about. When I have somebody with me, when it's really crazy and I can't park anywhere, I have somebody sit with the car. Now, I know that's not their purpose, and I know there's no learning in the car, but when you work in New York City after a snowstorm, unless you've done it, I don't want to hear. If you got a comment about it, leave it down below. We can definitely get into it, because you have no clue. They barely plow. They plow the cars in. Parking spots are almost impossible to find. So sometimes you have to have that guy with you just to be able to travel around from place to place to place. Again, I really am not getting into the weeds on this one. You know what I mean? It's not meant to be a long episode. The point is, I see you out there. I understand what it's like to be out there by yourself, you kind of feel like you're on an island. You have to come up with the answers. It could be super lonely at times. And then sometimes it can be super fruitful, right? Not everybody wants to have people with them. I get that. Everybody's, relationship to people is a little bit different, especially inside of an organization. We have introverts, we have extroverts. I consider myself to be a little bit more extroverted, so I definitely like being around people. There's some people that want to be around person ever, and maybe those people that watch this don't feel the same way I do, but I definitely feel like it's a super lonely and thankless job a lot of times. And I'm not talking about inside the organization. Obviously, I'm very grateful for my guys. I show my appreciation in many different ways that don't need to be discussed here. But the outside world has no idea we even exist sometimes. We're just kind of like lurking in these basements, and you call with no heat, and guess what? We show up and we get it done. We're in and out of there before you even know we're there. And next thing you know, heat's coming out of your radiator, and you think some miracle happened, but it didn't. We're down there. We're getting it done. But sometimes it's nice to have somebody with you. So I hope you guys got something from this. Again, man, it's a lot of ranting, but I think it's super poignant and important to have this discussion because, like I said, on my other platforms, when I talk about these things, it really gets the conversation going, because I think a lot of guys and women that are in this space can understand what I'm saying. It's a lot. It can be a lot. It's definitely mentally taxing, and I relish it. But at the same time, like, it's nice to every now and again have somebody kind of sidekicking and going along for the journey with you. So I hope you guys got something from this. Like I said, man, if you have a question, comment, concern, anything like that, you want to continue this conversation, you want to give me your perspective, drop a comment down below, man. I respond to every comment, and it's me every single time. I'm the one responding to you guys, making sure that I can answer it as best as possible. If you have any ideas for some future videos, please, man, drop a comment below as well. We do appreciate that. I want to keep this channel going with as much information as we possibly can, and we appreciate all of you. If you haven't already, man, please subscribe to the channel, man. We are right at 700, and we're pushing through to 1,000, and then 1,000 and beyond. Whatever it is, we're here for the ride. Great, it's a lot of fun, and it couldn't be done without all of you, so it's greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much. I hope you keep having a great day. Keep killing in your business. Have a good one. Peace.